The Collector of Eyes, the museum wasn't listed on any map. There were no billboards, no flyers. Just a single rusted sign nailed crookedly to a tree at the edge of a forgotten town. The Moorgrave Eye Collection, see what cannot be unseen. Riley Morgan stumbled upon it while driving through the back roads of Maine, trying to escape the noise of her life. A weekend alone, she'd promised herself. No calls, no deadlines, no distractions, just peace. But as soon as she saw that sign, her curiosity betrayed her. The museum sat at the end of a gravel path flanked by gnarled trees that clawed at her car like they wanted her to turn back. But Riley kept driving until the forest opened up to reveal a crooked Victorian house with moss-covered shingles and shattered windows. Despite its decay, a single flickering neon sign blinked above the door. Open. Riley hesitated. The air felt too still, the kind of silence that hummed under your skin. But she'd come this far. The door creaked open before she could knock. "Welcome," said an old man with silver hair and cloudy eyes. He wore a black suit, 2 sizes too large, and smiled with teeth too white. "You're just in time for the final exhibit." "I didn't know this place was here," Riley said, stepping inside. "No one does, until they need to see it." The interior was colder than outside, despite the dusty chandelier's soft yellow glow. Paintings lined the walls, portraits of strangers, but all of them had one thing in common. Their eyes were missing, gouged out or painted over in thick black strokes. A sign in brass lettering read, "Eyes are the windows to the soul. Behold those who looked too deep." Riley shivered. "Every eye here," the man said, leading her down the hall, "has seen something unique. Some saw beauty beyond belief, others horrors that snapped their sanity." He stopped before a velvet curtain and looked back at her. "Some say the eyes remember, even when removed." Behind the curtain, the main exhibit awaited. Hundreds, no thousands, of glass jars filled the room. Each jar held a single eye, suspended in a greenish fluid, staring out as if it still saw the world. Some were bloodshot, some glowed faintly, others were milky white, clouded with death. Riley felt sick. "Are these real?" The man nodded. "Donated willingly. Some not so willingly." She backed away from one jar where the eye looked disturbingly familiar. "Can I leave a donation?" she asked, her voice barely steady. "Only if you've seen something worth collecting," the man said, and then he vanished behind the curtain. Riley turned, only to find the hallway gone. Now there was only one door, and it led down. She didn't remember choosing to descend the stairs, but her feet moved on their own. The further she went, the darker it got. A wet, earthy smell filled the air, like rotting soil and formaldehyde. The steps ended in a circular room lit by a single swinging bulb. In the center stood a chair. Strapped to it, head slumped forward, was a person. Riley stepped closer. The figure was a teenage boy, maybe 16, with wires hooked to his temples and dried blood crusted beneath his hollow sockets. Her scream caught in her throat. Then his head jerked up. "He collects them," the boy croaked. "When you see it, he takes them." "Who?" The bulb flickered, and for a second she saw something in the shadows, a tall figure with no face, but eyes covering its entire body. Hundreds of them, blinking in unison. The Collector. Riley ran, but every hallway twisted back to the same room. No matter which door she tried, it led her back to the boy, back to the swinging light bulb, back to the scent of eyes in jars, until finally she collapsed, exhausted, and the voice returned. "You looked too deeply." The Collector stepped from the dark. His eyes blinked from his shoulders, his palms, even his chest. Each one moved independently, watching her, judging her. I didn't see anything," she said. "You saw enough. That curiosity, it stains you. You came here seeking something real, something raw." He reached out, and a pale hand pressed to her temple. The pain was immediate and blinding, like fire behind her eyes. "No, please." She felt something tug, not just at her skin, at her very being. Memories flashed. Her mother's face, her first kiss, the moment she first saw the museum sign. The Collector hummed. "Such lovely memories. It's a shame you won't see them again." Riley woke up on a roadside bench, the afternoon sun warm against her skin. Her phone buzzed, a dozen missed calls. It was as if no time had passed. But something was wrong. She reached into her bag for her compact mirror and opened it. Her eyes stared back, but they weren't hers. One was a pale grey, the other an unnatural green. Neither matched her natural hazel. She screamed. Weeks passed. Riley tried to ignore it. Doctors said she was delusional. Her fingerprints were found on no museum, no building in that forest. The Moorgrave eye collection didn't exist. But at night, she saw things. The eyes saw things, in reflections, in puddles, in dark corners. Visions of people she'd never met, places she'd never been. Murders, rituals, creatures that walked the spaces between dreams. And always, the collector, standing just out of reach, watching through 100 blinking eyes. One day she woke to find a glass jar on her nightstand. Inside it floated one of her original eyes. A note was attached. "You're one of us now. Watch carefully. Others are still blind." She started to draw, sketch the faces she saw, the visions, the museum. People started paying attention. Her artwork spread online like wildfire. They called it surreal, terrifying, beautiful. They didn't know each sketch was real. Each eye in her drawings belonged to someone who had seen what she'd seen. And slowly, they started coming, to her, knocking on her door, asking where to find the museum. She never gave them an address, but she smiled, handed them a sketch, and whispered, "Just drive until you see the sign." The end.